Hi, this is Darla Green, and thanks for joining me. If you're here, chances are that you have heard me say something that has piqued your interest, and I could not be more ecstatic about that because that means that we can start a meaningful conversation about the things that most likely both of us have in common. It's renting both of our hearts. We are really kind of at a place where we need solutions. We need to know what to do next. So, my first real big problem is that children nowadays, especially African American children, children from low socioeconomic backgrounds, they are disproportionately the children who are being sent to the office. They're being sent to out of school suspension. They're being treated aggressively. They're kind of tracked to become more likely to not succeed in academia. This starts, believe it or not, from daycare. And I trace it all the way back to daycare because I believe that there are critical periods. As a speech language pathologist, I've been practicing for a little over 14 years now. And I do know that there are critical times where it is adamant that we teach children vocabulary, that we teach them empathy, that we teach them social skills, that we teach them pro-social language. And I'll go back and explain what all of that is later. But what that basically means is we're teaching them how to build good relationships. We're teaching them how to step out of their feelings and step into somebody else's shoes. Learn how their behavior affects other people, and it could domino into either a positive result or a negative result. Sometimes when you get children who lack social skills in classrooms or even daycare centers, and those teachers or those caregivers lack the ability to manage and to cultivate more positive behavior, to manage their maladaptive or negative behaviors, our children are labeled very fast. And more times than not, they're kicked out of their daycare. And so the parents began a daycare hop all around the community because their child with these behaviors are being labeled, and there's almost a perception that, we just can't handle your child. You're just going to have to do something else. I want to get into the thick of that problem. I want to begin to give parents and caregivers strategies of how to manage children who demonstrate these behaviors. Now, sometimes it could be that they're just not getting it. Sometimes we can't assume that they're catching the really good social skills, like how to change your voice when you're in a different atmosphere, when you're in a library versus a classroom, how to ask a child that has a toy that they want, how to ask them for that toy using words like may I, can I, instead of snatching the toy. Some of our children just see what they want. They're impulsive. They don't have the words to communicate their needs, and so they're right at it. This doesn't go over well, of course, with a child that they're getting the toy from. These children appear to be bullies. They appear to be, unmanageable in a classroom setting because they don't know how to deal with structure. They don't know how to follow the rules. They need more reminders and probably incentives for being on task or following the rules and staying in their square in center or circle time. There's a whole gamut of concerns that start to arise at the 2, 3, 4-year-old stage. A lot of children are not identified for communication disorders and other needs like autism spectrum disorder. You find all of these dynamics in a classroom at your local daycare. You find children who have been neglected. You find children of parents who don't really know how to stimulate or elicit language development, vocabulary development. And so you see children who are the product of this environment. Technology is babysitting them. They're getting so much screen time. That is what they're doing all day. They're used to rapid fire TV visuals, constantly clicking and flashing and giving them visual stimuli. They're not able to look at an adult or another peer in the eye. They're not able to follow conversation. They're not able to stay on task and expand the conversation and show reciprocity. They're not able to understand jokes or make jokes, sing songs, do the regular child type skills that is very typical, and it needs to be in place at an early age. Sometimes parents are not following what their gut instinct is and going ahead and getting the intervention. They're not going to get the evaluation from specialists that can be, probably at their local school district that can direct them to the steps that they need to take in order to get their child evaluated. But if that's not the case, and your child has been evaluated and there's just nothing wrong with the child as far as being labeled with a disorder, but your gut instinct says there's something not right, those children, they tend to fall between the cracks because they're not on anybody's caseload, so that somebody is supporting them and giving them intervention. Actually, at best, what speech therapists do sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, we give parents written recommendations and we pray and we hope that they're able to follow those and they become proactive in that child's life to see to it that the bridge is built between what the child is able to do as far as developing social language and social skills and what they can't do. Is that really successfully happening? I don't think so. And statistics prove that. Statistics prove that we have a problem of epidemic proportions. African American children, Hispanic children are disproportionately children more so than not labeled and punished for behaviors, sent to ISS, in-school suspension or out-of-school suspension. They're found in the principal's office. They're treated more aggressively. And all of this could be is like, look, this child is not getting it. He's not getting it. He doesn't have the vocabulary to support his feelings. And so some of that lies with the parents. Am I blaming the parents? No. Most of the time, I believe whether young or old parents, educated or not, everybody wants to do the best for their child. Do they always know what to do? No, they don't. And this is where I feel like I come in, and professionals like me. I am a speech language pathologist, and my expertise is building language and cultivating concepts and skill building, vocabulary, teaching social skills that are appropriate for a child's age. I've done this with speech kids or kids who have speech impairments for years, but I feel like I'm not reaching out as far as my reach should be at this time. While I have a caseload of children who qualify for services, what about those children who are not qualifying? Those children who are falling between the cracks. Those children who never get identified. It could be because a parent may be afraid of the label or what it means to necessarily have a special needs child, or it could be that they're just waiting it out until it gets better. Either way, these children are at a disadvantage. I feel like in order to help the children, I need to support the family. I need to support the parents. I need to support the adults who have built relationships around this child's support group. This may be caregivers. This may be their youth ministry staff members. These people, they need to know how to deal with these children that may demonstrate ineffective communication strategies. Look, these children are not bad children. They're making bad choices. They're good kids with the lack of the ability level to control their emotions, to adapt to social situations, and to use the vocabulary that really explains what it is that they're thinking, what it is that their needs are. And I am here to help. So, I formed a business. It's called Cohort Speech Therapy and Communication Services. It's a business that is designed to coach parents and caregivers, all of those who have relationships with children in our community that's struggling at this time. It could be a child at the age of 2 or 21. Yes, they're still babies. To me, they're still babies. If their brain is still forming, which is up to the age of 25, then I would like to help them. I would like to support them. They're getting into run-ins. They're having run-ins with law enforcement that, as we know, don't end so well. They really, on their level, are not quite understanding what their nonverbal communication is speaking when they're not speaking. Sometimes I believe that they need to code switch. They need to use different language to more effectively communicate their needs. They need to learn how to negotiate or de-escalate a situation. So yes, law enforcement, community helpers, that is a group that I want to reach. I want to target that group as well because I think that communication breaks down barriers. I think that if we all learn to communicate better and to understand the strengths and weaknesses that each of us may have in understanding nonverbal and verbal communication, we'll be much better off as a community. We will begin to bridge the gap. We will begin to break down barriers. We will begin to speak to the heart of the matter. We will begin to see each other for who we really are and what we really need. And that is just understanding. So let's start this conversation. If you're a parent, I want to talk with you. What are your needs? Do you think that you would benefit from coaching to know how to create a dialogue with you and your child, how to build their vocabulary, even in the hidden times? You can be utterly busy all day. There's hidden times of the day where you can find that you can begin to build vocabulary and concepts. Folding up clothes is a good one. I have my 3-year-old match socks. And, he puts daddy's clothes where daddy's clothes go and my clothes. So right away we're categorizing. Okay. If I have a green sock, I'll ask him the color. I'll also say, what sock looks like this one? Is it the same or is it different? We will engage in dialogue while we're skill building, and it's fun. They want to help mommy. They want to help daddy. In an education environment, they want to be noted for their skills. We can't always say, oh, this child is bad. Oh, we can't always get frustrated with them because they feel that. They feel that. They hear it. They may not really understand it, but they see it on your face. They see frustration. They see that they're not doing something that's pleasing, and it frustrates them. And so you're frustrated and they're frustrated, and then here we go. We're perpetuating a cycle of tolerating. And who wants to just be tolerated in a place where they want to be loved? Teachers want to feel like they're fulfilling their classrooms, the children in the classrooms, their needs. They want to impact them in a meaningful way. So I would like to introduce cohorts to you as a means of being impactful, as a means of bridging the gap, breaking down those communication barriers so that you can communicate to your children or the children that you're in relationship with because you work with them in your youth ministry, because you're a police and you interact with children every day on your beat, because you're a parent and you want your child to have the vocabulary development that's needed for their age because you want them to soar. You want them to have academic success. So tell me what you need. Email me, look me up on Facebook, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Let me hear from you. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, this is Darla Green, and I am with Cohort Speech Therapy and Communication Services, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.